It's great to have you here. I think,
Uh, it is a pleasure. It is a pleasure. So when Param introduced me to Vijaybhoomi and the entire curriculum, I think it's also one of a kind of curriculum where with so many options now that a student has to choose from, and the new age, career options. I think it's great that a college is actually incorporating that in their curriculum because, when we were growing up, it was only engineering, medical or finance. But now I think there's so many options available. It is important for even academics to change. So great, great. Yes, yes.
absolutely,
Mm.
absolutely.
Mm.
So, without further ado, let's begin this. Um,
Sure.
Yeah,
um,
giving the stage to both of you. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Param. Thank you for coordinating.
yes, Param. So, yeah. So, yes, so welcome to this version of VUTV's podcast with our industry experts.
Mm-hmm.
Today we have Joee Choudhury. Joey is she is a senior HR manager at Pepperfry. And Pepperfry is what we would refer to as a lifestyle retail brand at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, welcome, Joey. Yeah.
Thank
So,
you, Tejas. Thank you for having me as a part of the show.
no problem. Pleasure, pleasure. In fact, let's begin by talking about what a day in your life would look like. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
do you get this question a lot?
I do, and the best part about being an HR in in a very non-traditional startup or in a very non-traditional company is that while you plan the day, there are times when I would plan my day in a very boring way, doing all the monotonous. I think nobody in my organization allows me to have a very monotonous day. So it is all very exciting. Also, the best part. Um, when you talk about HR and when I step out and when I meet people and when I tell them that I'm in HR, one thing that comes to me is like, oh, do you help making rangolis? And I'm like, no, I'm not the rangoli making HR. I am actually, I take pride in the fact that so I always ensure that I'm sitting with my people. So I'm not sitting, and when I say with my people, not just my team, I'm sitting at a place where I am approachable. And I think that's also something most of the HR should do. Um, People come to me with queries. Luckily, people don't fear approaching me or my team. So that's like one of the great achievements that I think I have in my life. Days are planned, but it is never executed the way it is planned.
Okay. I mean, that is a nice closer for that.
Hmm.
But then I would like to really fly close to the Rangoli point,
Hmm.
then ask you in a very different vein. So, lifestyle brand would also mean cultural implications on the lives of people, right?
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
HR and you being in HR would also mean that you uphold a certain culture in the company or
hmm,
help uphold it.
hmm,
Now, how do you relate these two? How do you see? Do you see any a particular culture that you have to uphold as part of Pepperfry? And
mhm, mhm,
Pepperfry is also catering to multiple cultures through lifestyles and their
hmm,
experiential
hmm, hmm,
shopping
hmm,
ventures.
hmm.
Like that. So how do you tackle a question like that?
Sure. So, see, as an HR, I would always say that any individual at any point of their career have three pillars that they work on, and it can be different from for everyone. So those three. So for me, I have actually coined a word called as the leg framework. So L stands for learning, E stands for earning, and G stands for growth. And for you, maybe earning, and I mean, I'm just giving a hypothetical situation. For you, maybe earning is important. For me, maybe learning and growth is important. That is at a particular point. So when we are evaluating people, when we are, appraising people, we always keep this framework in our mind because, and nothing is wrong. So this is also one thing that I keep, telling my management is it is not wrong if somebody has money as the primary motivation. It is not an issue if somebody has growth as a primary motivation. No two individuals are going to be same. But one thing that I always ask my management to look for is the right attitude, because aptitude and skills can be taught. Attitude is something which is a person is born with. So as long as the person has the right attitude, the person can do anything. Another thing that we have always looked at when we talk about a culturally fit hiring is, um, I will actually tell you my career at Pepperfry. So I joined into talent acquisition. I never thought that I would be, managing the entire gamut of HR. But because talent acquisition has always been my passion, I have always enjoyed the art of getting the right people. But then something happened, the stars aligned, and then this role came up, and I was like, why not? Let's give it a try. And the best thing that I would talk about, any organization is, if your management is ready to help you when you are failing in your task, I think that's the right culture, and that is also the culture that we have at Pepperfry. So you fail, not a problem. Be bold, be gritty. The one of our values is step on toes. So you don't. I don't see anybody, telling anything. If even if my CEO has brought in an idea, but I don't think that's the right idea, and I am actually, you know, questioning him on that idea, I don't feel worried about my job. So that is the kind of culture that is appreciated at Pepperfry. And I think that is also something I would say when we talk about lifestyle as a brand,
Right.
Lifestyle, uh, furniture lifestyle as a brand. I think we have experimented, and we keep learning with each experiments, and then we are learning something new every day.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I completely agree with that.
Hmm.
Now, I would like to kind of link your talent acquisition background with what
Sure.
you just
Sure.
mentioned. So,
Hmm.
say when somebody is coming in to, let's say, work at Pepperfry, uh,
Hmm.
would you also, while, let's say, while acquiring that person or while trying to get him an offer letter or something like,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
do you also look for these LEG alignments that you mentioned? Do you actually
Yes.
look for these in people?
Hmm. So this is again, we cannot apply it for each role that we hire for, because when you are when you are at the very start of your career, I don't think people really understand this framework, because they just want to get into something. But when we are, speaking to a candidate, we see how agile that candidate is, because we have had, examples here where somebody who had joined us in financial planning and analysis went on to become head of category. And then when the person decided to move out, the person left as a head of marketing. So,
Wow.
from finance to marketing, again, if the person understands the brand, understands what we are here for,
Mm.
and is able to take up a role, that is the kind of profile that we are looking at. And, so again, the learning is, of course, a part of each role. We get a lot of questions when we are hiring for different profiles, be it in our frontline team or our operations team, that how do I grow in the team?
Right.
Now, Pepperfry has a very flat hierarchy. We
Mm.
do not have a lot of designations, but we also tell them that as an organization, you cannot just grow horizontally. You cannot just grow vertically, but you can also grow horizontally. And people have moved from customer support to customer support to category roles as well, because they understood product. So as long as people show that agility, I think that's the kind of people that we have. And yeah,
Okay,
I
so
hope I answered your question.
no, I kind
Hmm.
of get it. So agility is something, or the versatility, if I may say so,
Hmm.
that is
Hmm.
something that you value in the organization. And
Yes.
I think as an HR, you also look for that particular trait, and
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
think the bigger focus than L, E, or G at that point.
Hmm.
What
Hmm.
profiling that person,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
That makes perfect sense because
Hmm.
mostly the question is about how you can actually make use of a person's skill sets.
Hmm. Hmm.
That
Hmm.
going for looking for something which somebody does not have, which a lot of
Hmm. Hmm.
get
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
I kind of really resonate with it because I've had interviews where people have tried to figure out what I do not know
Hmm.
more than to see how they could make use of my skill sets.
Sure.
So I completely understand that point.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Right.
Uh,
So yes.
also there would be one thing, of course, you are teaching this generation, and I think, a lot of debate happens around organizations about the Gen Zs versus the millennials. And I think, I would say that, Gen Zs bring a very fresh perspective into the corporate, and I would really not think of it as a disadvantage. I think, as long as you're telling somebody what kind of difference that person would be able to make in whatever role that they are being hired for, I think they're happy there. So, that role clarity is also very important. And uh, I mean, who better than, who is coaching this particular generation?
No, I get it. I mean,
Yeah.
you do probably get to see a couple of slays or a six sevens in your messages, but then
Outliers, I think, even millennials had their own outliers. So I think outliers are everywhere. Yes.
wonderful, wonderful. So, do you also get to work closely with people like the tech team, and do you also work really closely with other teams, like let's say people who are in retail in the shops, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I also has an experiential shopping division where they set up really good studios. I would say I would actually call them studios because they're very well set up with the furniture and
So
all.
yeah, yes. So it started as experiential studios, but
Right.
now they are stores. So we have our frontline team, sales executives who are, actually consulting our customers when they walk in, and even make a sale. So those stores are revenue. Each store has their own P&L.
Hmm.
So of course, furniture is something that is very see, touch, feel kind of a product. You would not want to buy a piece of furniture. And when I am talking about furniture, I think, we are slowly moving away from just being a furniture company, and we want to tell people that Pepperfry is more of a, fashion for home. Because very recently we did one study where we identified that, gone are the years where people would wait for a particular festival to buy a piece of uh, you know um, uh, l- accessory for their home. So I know, one day I would just scroll, and then I realized that, okay, my home needs new cushions, so I would just end up buying new cushions. So I think, um and now people have really started enjoying their homes. So it's, we have, it's not just furniture, it is also, things that adore your furniture. So it's also fashion and decor that we talk about. Yes.
Okay.
Mm,
So
mm,
that's again. So we're talking about these multiple divisions that you have. So
mm,
in your role, I mean,
mm,
I would assume, correct me if I'm wrong, I would assume
mm.
that Pepperfry would have a large variety of divisions. For instance, you have
It
a
is.
supply chain division, then there
Mm,
is a warehousing unit, then there are
mm,
people who work at very different levels, right? I mean,
mm,
uh,
mm, mm,
at one
mm.
side, you're looking at people at the CXO levels, then you would
Mhm, mhm.
at the warehouse levels, supervisors and all. So you do get to interact with a wide spectrum of people. If
Oh yes, oh yes, yes, yes. So, I would call it as an interconnected ecosystem. So even when I am telling or talking to people about Pepperfry, I tell them, and when we are giving them trainings, or even when we are training a customer support team, I try to build that entire value chain. So the value chain starts from a team that does analysis of what is exactly required by our customers. Because, uh, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Uh, because we are also selling something that is very taste driven. So, when we talk about North would have a very different preference when it comes to furnitures and decor. Versus when we talk about, down south, they would have a very different preference. And every region has a very different, not just region. People say that tastes and preference changes every 50 kilometers,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
right.
So we have a team that actually analyzes that what is the uh, requirement or the merchandising requirement in each of the teams. That's one thing. Post which we have our category team. So category team is the team that does sourcing, merchandising, adding new vendors. So Pepperfry is not just a D2C brand. We have our own house brands. Plus we also have marketplace. Now, when we talk about marketplace, we have different brands selling on our website,
Yeah.
right? So when we are talking about each brand, we also need to understand how is each brand performing. Now, there can be one brand that is doing amazingly well, but then there would be one SKU which is sold by that brand which is not doing great.
Okay.
So, then we have that team analyze that is this the brand problem or is this the SKU problem? If it's a SKU problem, then the category team would really think that is it worth investing our time and effort in that SKU, or should we just discontinue it? So that's sourcing, that's merchandising for you.
Okay.
Post merchandising, of course, you would have your supply chain because we have our own supply chain. Um,
Yes.
uh, and I would really take this moment and be very proud to say that
Yes.
our return rate, the defect rate, is less than 2% for a
Wow.
kind of product that we are selling. Big box logistics, you
Mm.
stack one product over the other, there is bound to be some damages. But
Yeah.
when you talk about less than 2% damages, I think we have really achieved something through our big box logistics. So we have our supply chain team who is working day in, day out on not just delivering the product, but there's a lot of things that goes in that. You have to do the right kind of route planning. You have to
Mm.
do the right kind of analysis if, what time will a product reach the customer? If
Mm.
there is a delay, why is the delay? How do we communicate to the customer that there is a delay? Because, unlike a lot of other brands, people are waiting for 2 to 3 weeks for a product that they have ordered from us, right?
Understood.
And uh, mostly when people are purchasing, you feel happy when you're also buying something from Amazon, and when the product comes in, you feel happy, or that the product has arrived. So imagine a big piece of product
Yeah.
which is coming to us. Now, also we are mostly into a product. 60% of our sale is of that a product which cannot be kept at a neighbor's house. You
Mm.
cannot keep a furniture at your neighbor's house, right? So there
Yeah.
has to be a lot of coordination that goes with the customer that, oh, are you home? Are you available? Because if
Mm.
you're not available and if there is some kind of disconnect there, you would have to take that piece of furniture back.
Back.
And
Yeah.
that's a cost to the company. So there's a lot of coordination there. Once that happens, then of course we have our carpenter team, which is again a part of supply chain.
Right.
Because the product is delivered, but what is the use of the product if the product is not assembled properly? So a proper coordination has to be there, and then that also has to happen in SLA. Now, within our service level time, then comes the customer support team, because no, you would never call a customer support team when everything is happy, when everything is hunky dory. You would
Mm.
only call when there's a problem. And
Yeah.
our poor customer support team constantly has they have to constantly hear about people issues for something where they might not be responsible. But then what we try to do is, from this customer support team, we have analysis. We have constant analysis of the issues are related to manufacturing defect, or
Right.
if the issues are more related to damage in transit. So we try and understand those bifurcations too. And this analysis again goes back to our category team, where the category team again works with the entire team there for proper sourcing. Just give me a second.
No
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. So that happens. Then this is of course the backend team. Now we also have a brand team, and the brand team is responsible for sending the right message, the right message out there. So be it how our studios look. So any kind of stores that you would walk in, they would have the same feel around in vibrant colors. They would each have a section, a room like section, so that you would exactly know how your room can look like if you're using a furniture or a home decor product from Pepperfry. So even there's a lot of creative artwork that goes. So again, we have a brand team who is responsible for the end-to-end execution of our brand identity. And then we have our marketing team. Also, you would see a lot of shift has happened from brand marketing to nowadays. People talk more about influencer marketing, community marketing, a lot of performance and internet marketing and retention marketing. So you would not see a lot of ATL, but a lot of BTL is happening. And for that again, we have a analytics team who is doing all that. So the kind of messages that you might receive versus the kind of messages I would receive might be very different depending on what we are buying or what we are scrolling. And we have the product and tech team. Like without the product and tech team, I think we cannot perform, we cannot work. So when people are talking about lifestyle retail, or when people talk about retail in general, I think they only see what. So I would call it like the iceberg. You only see what is 30%, but there's 70% out there which is not visible. But a lot of effort goes to ensure that the product is reaching the customer. Yeah. I might have missed few departments, the visual merchandising team for that matters, but amazing. Like, yeah.
I think you gave a very clear outline of what goes around in Pepperfry, and I mean that's pretty impressive. I did have a couple of questions, especially when it came to the carpentry side. Because I remember having this order from Pepperfry, and the carpenter had to come in and he assembled it. And um, so, do you also recruit your carpenters, or is it an outsourced thing, or how does it happen? Do you train them, and how does it really happen?
So we have a carpenter service desk. So the carpenter service desk is somebody, at a team lead level who is ensuring that as soon as the delivery happens, there is a call that goes to the customer for aligning the the assembly. But then we of course have third-party carpenters. But even when we talk about those third-party carpenters, they are those carpenters who are working with us, trained with us, and a lot of training. A lot of effort is put into their training, because
Right.
while they might not be, we might not be their primary employers, they still represent our brand.
They do.
And very simple thing, like, when, let's say you are installing a piece of furniture for your bedroom. Now, the carpenter is actually entering a very private space of the customer.
That is true.
Right. There is a possibility that there's, the person who is interacting is a female customer. Now, how do you interact with that customer?
Wow.
How do you talk to that customer? What are the kind of conversations that you need to have with that customer?
Okay.
If there is something, if a part is missing, how do you inform the customer? So, at the end of the day, irrespective of the person being directly hired through us or not, anybody who is working with us is representing our brand. So we have to take that full ownership of whoever you are interacting with when you are interacting with Pepperfry.
Wow. I mean, I for one know for a fact that Pepperfry as a brand, I mean, they take their feedback very, very seriously. The feedback loop is running 24/7. Because the moment I posted a feedback, I got a call from the store and we had a chat over that. So that I think that was pretty awesome in my opinion. In fact, I wrote that down in the feedback as well.
Oh, nice. No, I
But,
think, whenever we are hiring, I think another thing that we definitely look for is ownership. So,
mm,
if I'm working for Pepperfry, I need to feel that I belong to Pepperfry.
mm,
Because and that is the reason when we talk about people reacting the way they react, I think each of our employee at some way or the other feel very connected to the brand.
right.
I would, again want to put it on record that every year, almost 5 to 8% of our hirings are, the rehires. So people
Oh,
move out, people explore, but then people want to join us back. And I mean, I am the classic example here because this is my second stint with Pepperfry. So, I mean, I understand what they feel when they're trying to join us back.
wonderful, wonderful. Because I think this goes again. This whole idea of being accountable for the product and the
Mm,
brand in itself. I think that is really part
mm.
of the culture that you try to inculcate in Pepperfry, and
Sure.
you would have to play a lot of a role in making sure people get that into their
Mm,
system,
mm, mm,
and that is upheld at all levels. I mean, the customer support team, and I think by the way it's going, I think it's you may also have spent a lot of time coaching the customer support team, and if would it be wrong if I say that out of all of this, what I flag as the most important um, uh, point or the feature to have would be mad communication skills. If I say that, would it be wrong if I say that?
Of course, I think, and again, I would reiterate that communication is not just about speaking in English.
Absolutely.
Communication is one of the most important aspect for any role for any person. If the person is able to articulate their thoughts well in whatsoever language they are comfortable with, of course, the person has the person they are speaking to is should also be able to understand that language. I think that's one of the most crucial skills for everyone, not just people in sales, not just people in customer support, but for everyone, because as long as you're not able to um, articulate your ideas well or convey your ideas or thoughts well, I think some message would be lost in transit.
Right. So the
Mm.
messaging is quite important.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Perfect.
Mm,
Perfect.
mm,
All right. So I got this one last question. In fact, two questions. And
mm.
these both of these are little quirky questions. So heads up.
Mhm,
All
mhm.
right. So heads up.
Yeah.
Um, so question number one is, do you get to have a lot of very difficult conversations with people?
I do. I do. When hiring employees, when you're growing your team, it's the best. But,
Mm,
and, when you are a small organization, and when I say small organization, it's about you knowing each one of your employee, either by name, because you have interacted at some point of time, or they have reached out to you at some point and you know them by name. uh, there are times when you have to have, there are many types of difficult conversations. One is, of course, about the performance. So I also try to disassociate myself and first understand that if that conversation is for the betterment of the employee,
mm.
and if yes, then I'm okay to be the bad cop.
Right. Right.
Because I think that when I am an HR,
Mm,
uh, again, HR is not just on the side of the company,
right.
but there are times, and I will be very happy to say that there are times when a team was almost about to put one employee in performance improvement, but even before that, when the head of the department reached out to me and spoke to me about that employee, I had a coaching, I had a session of coaching with that employee, and the
Okay.
person is continuing now. So, there are times difficult conversations are bound to happen,
Yeah.
and it's okay because, I would also look at them as a mentor, and that's the responsibility. You cannot always be, a good cop. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well,
Mm,
true that.
mm,
The last quirky question before I ask you to ask me something back.
mm,
Uh,
mm.
um, does Joey share food, or do you get asked?
It also depends on what food it is. If I don't like it, I'm sharing it. If I like it, I don't even share it with my family. So chocolate is one thing I would never share with anyone.
All right, all
Yes.
right, all
Yes.
right, all
Yes.
right.
But that's how I also, there are times when people would ask me, oh, how do I spell, how do we spell pronounce your name? And I
Yeah,
would always give them the friend's reference. And
yeah.
when they don't know the friend's reference, I'm like, okay, should I even have the second conversation with this person? Because friends was a cult. Yeah.
Friends is a cult. Yes,
Yes. Yes.
agreed, agreed.
Mm. Mm.
All right, all right. So
Yeah.
that's all from my side. So would you have
Mm.
any questions for me? Because
I would actually. So, I went through your profile, and, you have been, mm, you are an artist who is a scientist. So, I would like to know, how do you balance your day? How does your day look like? And what kind of quirks do you get from your students? Please share some experiences.
wow, so nice. So my day, okay, so I inside my head, I arrange myself in the following order, right? So first priority is for teaching. So everything I do, it has to be teaching first, right? Apart from that, so I also spend a lot of time doing theater with the students. So we direct plays, we have students perform. So there's an element of teaching that comes along with it, and I get to carry my passion theater along with it as well. Sometimes I go to some of the students over here and I go and jam with them. Yeah, so I play a bit of guitar, so they bring theirs, so we jam together too. So I find these spaces which are common between me and the students. So we get to share conversations about it. We get to do stuff about it. Couple of weeks ago, we had two teams who went off to perform at Mood Indigo at IIT Bombay. So yeah, so going along with the crowd, I mean, hanging out with them, I think I also get to keep all of these things at par. And
Mm.
when I go back home, there's nothing left to do. And, I keep my guitar always out. I don't lock
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm.
So it's always there sitting, smiling. So I go there, I just pick it up and play a few chords and keep it back and
Amazing. Amazing.
happen.
Amazing. Yes. Yes.
That's how the balance really happens these days.
Great. 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 Nice. Mm.
So, Joey, it was great having you here.
Pleasure
One,
was all mine.
all right.
Yeah.
Folks, this is another edition of VUTV's podcast with the industry expert coming to a close. Thanking you all once again.